But you haven't complied with my request for DNA test either, and that's my key. Is that if I have an obligation, I like to make sure it is my obligation and not the obligation of some other father.
Well, maybe you should have been obligated to your wife whenever you were having an affair with me.
You know, you're right about that. And honest
so
truth is
you are admitting that you're married?
Yes.
Okay.
And I've told her. I've told her that we had this fling.
You didn't tell me you were married until after.
That's correct. That's correct. I did not tell you.
I'm sorry, I won't disrupt you guys anymore. Go ahead.
This legal battle is far from straightforward. Miss Canada has come out and is requesting back pay and child support for her 3-year-old child. According to her, the man seated across from her is unquestionably the father and needs to accept accountability. However, he isn't giving up so quickly. The man contests paternity from the beginning, claiming that Miss Canada may have had affairs at the time of conception. He maintains that he shouldn't be asked to support a child who might not even be his financially in the absence of verifiable evidence. As each side tries to justify their position, tension builds as they each make their cases. A startling discovery raises the drama to a whole new level just as the case appears to be a routine child support battle. The man turns out to be married, and in a shocking turn of events, Miss Canada works alongside his spouse. The courtroom is stunned as the pieces begin to come together and reveal a complex web of betrayal on both a personal and professional level. What started out as a simple child support case has now devolved into a scandalous tangle of lies, secrets, and surprising relationships. With reputations at stake and emotions running high, the outcome might completely alter the situation. Who is being honest? Will the matter be resolved definitively by a paternity test? And above all, how will the wife respond once she discovers the entire scope of the deception? The most significant developments in this case might yet to come.
All rise. Judge Vanderbeek Court is now in session. Judge, this is case number JVB 1019, Canada case. Judge, both parties have been sworn.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You all may be seated. Okay, Miss Canada. All right. You brought this case before the court. What's going on?
I'm seeking child support and back pay from this man.
Okay, just straightforward. That's what I like. Just get right into it. How old is the child?
The child is now 3 years old.
3 years old.
And I have not received any child support.
In 3 years?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. Sir, is there a reason you haven't given her any child support in the past 3 years?
Yes, ma'am, there is.
What is that?
We've been discussing the paternity obligations.
Okay.
Under the circumstances, you know, I don't think I was the only person having a fling with Rocky at the time that you know, she and I had that time together. And,
excuse me? Are you implying something?
Well, what I'm trying to say is that I understand that you may have been seeing some other people in addition to me. And the reason that I haven't provided...
Well, those are rumors.
I understand that. I understand that. But you haven't complied with my request for DNA test either, and that's my key. Is that if I have an obligation, I like to make sure it is my obligation and not the obligation of some other father.
Well, maybe you should have been obligated to your wife whenever you were having an affair with me.
You know, you're right about that. And honest
truth is, you are admitting that you're married?
Yes.
Okay.
And I've told her. I've told her that we had this fling.
You didn't tell me you were married until after.
That's correct. That's correct. I did not tell you.
I'm sorry, I won't disrupt you guys anymore. Go ahead.
The accused father claims that because he isn't sure if the child is his, he hasn't paid child support. He maintains that it is unjust to hold him responsible without evidence because Miss Canada was having affairs at the time. Miss Canada, however, is not going to back down. She retaliates, revealing his own adultery. He is married, and to make matters worse, she collaborates with his spouse. As the charges fly, the courtroom becomes tense. A web of secrets and treachery has emerged from what began as a child maintenance battle. The paternity test is now the center of attention. Will he take responsibility at last if the child is his? When the truth is out, how will his wife respond? This is not the end of the story.
So, you know, from my perspective, Your Honor, I certainly understand the situation. I'm not trying to be hard-hearted, so to speak, about this, but I think that there's some other questions that need to be answered before we agree on paying any kind of support, because at this point, we haven't confirmed whose child this is.
Okay. Well, I definitely have some questions too, but I don't think they have anything to do with child support. It's more about you guys' backstory, but that has nothing to do with me. However, has this man taken a DNA test at all?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. Did he sign anything at the hospital
No, he wasn't
acknowledging that he was the father? Okay. So he does have a valid point. Before we can actually place him on child support, he either has to accept parentage, which according to what I'm hearing, you're really not accepting it.
He's in denial about his affair and doesn't want his wife to find out.
My wife knows.
Oh,
Yeah,
she
right.
knows now.
Ah, he's lying.
You told her?
I would have heard from her by now. I work with him, ma'am.
Oh. At the welding place?
I'm a receptionist there.
Receptionist there, I'm a manager.
That's how we met.
You're her direct manager. Oh, okay. Ooh, wasn't expecting that much tea this morning.
When Miss Canada reveals that she works at a welding plant with the man's wife, the tension in the courtroom rises. She asks, glaring sharply, if he has ever told his wife about their affair. The room erupts in gasps as the reality sets in. The man moves uneasily, his self-assurance faltering. What began as a child support dispute has now escalated into a major scandal. The case takes a dramatic turn when secrets are revealed and emotions are running high. Truth, treachery, and the impending ramifications are at the center of the current controversy, which goes beyond paternity.
So, yeah, he's entitled to a DNA test.
Sure.
Okay, so before we can move forward with anything in terms of child support, looking at your financial documents you provided, he first needs to get a DNA test. So what I can do is you guys go and get the DNA test, then you can come back at a later date, possibly, if he's the father. If he's not the father, you're more than welcome to bring back as many people as necessary. I'm not implying by any means that what he's saying is true.
Right, he's
but if
definitely
he's
the
not
father.
the father, you can bring back as many people as necessary to get DNA testing, and we actually find the father and place him on child support.
Well, I know who it is, so that's not necessary, but thank you.
Okay. Is there anything further?
Your Honor, can we get your assistance in having this thing compelled so that we can get this DNA testing done expeditiously?
Oh yeah, most definitely. And it will be done through the Attorney General's office.
Okay.
Because they are actually on site in the courtroom, and it will be in the courthouse rather. And it will be much easier and free to you all to go ahead and use their resource.
The judge upholds the accused father's entitlement to a DNA test prior to the enforcement of any child support obligations. The court arranges for the test to be administered at no cost through the Attorney General's office in order to guarantee a prompt and equitable resolution. This decision temporarily moves the emphasis from vehement charges to the unvarnished facts. The accused father views this as his opportunity to demonstrate that his skepticism was warranted, while Miss Canada maintains her confidence. The outcome of the DNA test now determines everything. Will they clear his name or verify his paternity? The truth will eventually be out, one way or another.
Okay? If there's nothing further, you all are dismissed.
Thank you.
Rocky,
You're welcome.
if I have obligations here, I'll stand behind them.
I appreciate that.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.